So as Jeffrey mentioned, we'll be presenting false walls. And there's three videos that we'd like to show. The first one will be the most fun because it's the collaboration with Dan. The other two videos are explaining a little bit more of the process. But what you can see behind us as our backdrop is the data set that we use to train a machine learning model to basically make false walls. And so what we mean by that is, I should start by saying we're architects and interior designers. So this is why we're interested in walls. But we created, we first trained the machine to recognize stud walls. So the basic rules to a stud wall that we've got 16-inch on center studs. We've got a series of openings, windows, and doors. And then we introduced our own set of rules. We created 6 types of these walls, color-coded them, and then made 2,000. And so the 2,000 walls were made with the help of Grasshopper and fed into a platform called Runway. So the video that you'll see of Dan is the machine's version of stud walls. So I think we can just play it and then we could talk a little bit about it afterwards. But so Ethan's going to help us out. He's going to play the video for us.
Wow, I just want to say that was absolutely awesome.
Glad you like it.
That was wonderful. Wow, I hope you'll let me share this.
Oh, good. Totally.
Course, yeah.
You're like you almost made my saxophone playing sound okay.
Well, we don't know any better, so it sounds amazing to us. We could show these other videos. Now, these don't have music with them, but you can at least see the process a little bit. So if we play these, we'll just kind of talk over it. So the colored walls that are popping up, these are the fake walls. These are what the machine is making based off of our data set. And so to make that video of you, Dan, we chose a selection that we thought were nice, and then are able to kind of blend those together to create the video. And then what you're seeing on the left-hand side is this kind of surreal landscape of these stud walls, which is, they're kind of scary.
Yeah, they're definitely scary. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's this sort of endless monotony of stud walls that the machine has created.
Yeah, so the implication there is just that as you scroll through this space, it just keeps on making images. So we provide 2,000 walls, but it then makes an infinite number of walls out of that. So the image on the left is kind of analogous space, I guess, to that, where it's an infinite offset of rooms that would occur then from those walls. So if you kind of bounce back and forth, the images that are behind us here are the images that are the kind of the real walls. So they're always one color. So when you see in the video that we showed of Dan playing, it's multicolored walls. So you're seeing multiple types kind of getting spliced together at once.
And then if you show, this goes on for a while because yeah, it just, like we mentioned, it just makes an infinite amount of these walls. But Ethan, if you show the next video, I think one important part of our practice is we like to actually physically make these projects. And so this is the installation that's happening right now in Milwaukee. And so it's taking one of those rooms or four of the fake walls. It's actually the kind of starting point of that offset model, and it's constructed. So you can see the image of the data set model is inside. And then we constructed, yeah, four of the machine walls. And so the squiggly lines are our interpretation of what the machine was doing when it was blending between types.
Yeah, and one thing I guess we would just say as we were making the video with you playing that we were really fascinated with was that the way that the model, when it kind of sweeps over you and sort of like erases you momentarily, and then you reappear somewhere else, like it's a kind of shell game or something that's being had. It really was interesting to us. It kind of disembodied the voice of the saxophone from you momentarily, and then you would kind of like reconnect. And so there's something about the kind of atmosphere generated by the machine learning that was, in one sense, it's like it's a very kind of seductive image that's created, but then it like disembodies you from the instrument that you're playing, and it brings it back together in kind of interesting ways that we saw.
The striptease, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm curious, why were the images like in the video that you just showed, we're moving through this generative landscape of all these different walls stuck together randomly. But in the video of me, things are blending from one to another. They're kind of gradually moving. What's happening there?
Well, it's the machine's interpretation between the walls that we select that it's created.
Right, so it's blending the difference, and that's what you're reflecting in these squiggly lines, the colored lines.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Effectively, what we tried to do is say that the machine has certain like behaviors to how it stitches those things together, and then we had to somehow figure out how to make a wall out of that. So this was our attempt at sort of registering the behaviors into
something
wall.
physical.
Yeah. Yeah.
What an incredibly weird and wonderful idea. That is really great.
Yeah. How do you make a fake wall real?
But it's I mean, the process seems similar to what you were mentioning in the beginning, Dan, of you kind of play around with these various algorithms and then you decide like, okay, what do I make with it?
Yeah.
So
what's next?
Yeah, that's that. Any questions?
Yeah, we can take a few questions in the chat if anybody has. But we do have a lot of bravos and congratulations and mesmerizing. I just love the way the music fit the tempo of the visualization so nicely. It just kind of flowed. And was that kind of your response to the music? Because just so everybody knows, Dan recorded the video of him playing, and then Suzanne and Michael then took it and put this background and foreground. So did the music itself have a significant impact on you here?
Yeah, and I think that's probably for you, Jeffrey, too. It's maybe a bit of a surprise because we had a different video that we were going to show with Dan playing, and then Dan sent me, I don't know if I should reveal this, but he sent me him playing the sax maybe on like in the middle of the night on Friday. And so we decided once we heard him playing the sax and just like kind of the tempo and the overall mood, we changed it up a bit. So yeah, it's definitely a reflection of what he sent us. Yeah, I had imagined when Dan told me he was going to send us a video of him playing sax, I imagined like Kenny G. And then
God forbid.
We have a limited set of
Yeah.
references for sax playing.
But we imagined you like hopping around, jumping, and then there was this like really somber and beautiful, like kind of an emotional piece. So then, yeah, it totally changed the visualization for us.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
Actually, I
did
see.
I phrase a question there? Was your playing inspired by Lee Konitz?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, John. So interestingly, you wouldn't know this from hearing me play, but I got my first saxophone when I was, I think 17, something like that, or 18. And it's something I've always just played as a complete amateur with no real desire to be good at it, but I've always really loved playing it. And so I've gotten, moderately proficient over the years, but actually I haven't practiced, or I've never really practiced seriously. But what's interesting is that I have recordings of myself playing when I was about 17 or 18. And when I was maybe 25, I met Lee Konitz, who's one of the all-time great jazz saxophonists, and ended up spending 12 years playing with him. And of course, he's been a gigantic influence on me because he was an incredibly profound musician in every respect, and it's a huge influence on me. But what's kind of crazy is that when I was 17, I'd practically not listened to Lee at all. I'd listened to him here and there a couple of times. I'd listened to other saxophonists way more. But if you listen to those recordings of me when I was 17, I sound a lot like Lee Konitz. And that was without ever having heard him really in any kind of serious way. So, I'll leave the rest up to you. You can figure out the rest.
I truly love Lee Konitz's work also. I first became acquainted with his work with Jerry Mulligan. And so